We are 9 days away. The UFL season keeps inching closer and closer, and before you know it, it will be here.
And the gavel comes down tomorrow, dashing the hopes of a lot of players that were hoping they were going to make the final roster. There's a lot to talk about. It's the Bottom Line podcast, and it starts now.
And that's the bottom line. You want a war? You're going to get one.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Well, closer. It's almost here. And that's right. And for us spring football fanatic fans, it's kind of like Christmas on opening day, isn't it?
It is a huge day tomorrow for all the teams to find out what the final roster is going to look like.
Well, we had a cut with St. Louis today. Bring that up real quick. I remember earlier reports saying that Ben Woolridge was, they really liked him in camp, and and they've released him. So, you hear those earlier reports, you never know what to believe.
Yeah, he was at the Fan Fest that we had about a month ago here in St. Louis, and he was introduced as one of the, potential big players for the Battlehawks, and evidently the camp must have just not went the way he wanted it. But turn the page, bring in another guy. They brought in Mike Pratt, which is he was on the original quarterback draft list, I think, and he was committed. Let me see. He was with the Packers and the Buccaneers and the NFL, and I think he had to wait to get released before he could actually join a team. So evidently Ben Woolridge didn't knock their socks off. So exit Ben, in comes Michael. We'll see what happens.
I think there'll be quite a few more of that. Names we heard that were potentials that'll be on the list tomorrow. It's going to be a sleepless night for a lot of hopeful UFL players because as I said, it's cut day tomorrow, and we'll know the final lineup after tomorrow. So
speaking of sleepless nights, we probably should bring them on, shouldn't we?
I mean, I suppose we better bring on the man, the myth, the legend.
Is this when I mentioned, the part in the intro where I feel like you're talking about me and about bad guys at the very end?
Bad times don't last, but bad
guys do. I'm still here. I got into quite a heated squabble today on X. Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Well, he might be in the press box in Birmingham this year. I told him, I said, you sure flap your gums a lot online. And he said, well, I don't sit with the fans. I sit in the press box. I said, oh, really? Okay.
Right.
Well, it wouldn't be another week of the Bottom Line Show without starting off with Brett's way too early preseason rankings. And he's got a little bit of explaining to do because this final preseason poll, he kind of did a little shakeup. So let's part the Red Sea here and bring his newest, latest, and greatest power rankings up. And then we're going to let him explain just what the hell happened. So here we go. Really nothing changed in the top four. He's still got DC, Birmingham, St. Louis, and Orlando. But then all hell broke loose with the Houston Gamblers. So explain yourself, Brett.
Some things I've heard from camp, and I've had time to let things marinate, a little marination. I'm worried about Summerlin, and I'm worried about the quarterback room. They've also got a couple holes in that offensive line, unless some of these guys have came along more than what I've been told here recently. I just think with Perez and that nucleus back in Dallas, I went ahead and bumped them up. I saw quite a bit of film on the Aviators in the last week or two. And I tell you what, they're a physical bunch. You got to remember, those were the Michigan Panthers. I'm still really concerned about the coaching staff, but I think the quality of players might be a little higher with the Aviators. I dropped the Gamblers down to 7, but I want to remind people again, in 2020, XFL 2.0, we call it the GOAT of modern-day spring football. The Tampa Bay Vipers were the heavy favorite to win that, and they were definitely headed in the right direction before the pandemic and before the league shut down. Then in, 2021, the first year of the USFL, Birmingham Stallions were the long shot, and they ended up winning 3 titles in a row. Then we had 1 year where Michigan was pretty much everyone's long shot. Or no, it was Michigan and San Antonio. And they both made the playoffs, and San Antonio played Birmingham in the championship game. So, look, we all know how power rankings work. This is one guy's opinion off roster spots, a little bit of intel that I get from folks, and then the coaching staffs. And this is what I've come up with. The last couple of weeks, I really felt like I probably needed to do some adjusting with the Gamblers, but unfortunately, I'm still stuck with the Kings at 8, and just some more scuttlebutt. And I think the interview that James Larson did yesterday kind of cemented that for me. That I don't know if they're going to end up playing all 3 of their quarterbacks. As of right now, they don't have one. Now, again, we've just had 3 weeks or so of camp. We've had a halfway scrimmage. I think moving forward, Mike Rapoli does need to, and I know he's listening to the fans, consider starting, of course, right after the Super Bowl or the end of February, but trying to get at least an extra week of camp. All of us spring football guys have screamed that to the hilltops on the extra week of camp, because typically the first week or two it can be some inconsistent football, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But the Kings right now, of course, a guy will always typically rise to the top, but I think if you held a gun to their head right now, the OC and the head coach, they don't know who's going to start, which is week 1 next Friday against Birmingham, which is even though they've got a new, totally new coaching staff, they've got a heavily talented roster. So that's going to be a very interesting game next Friday night. But this is what I've came up with. You got to put DC at first. The core of the team is back. The head coach, the door opener, as they call him, door puller, whatever they called him last year, whatever happened.
I think he was
the OC,
wasn't
yeah, door holder something. The DC and the OC is back, and I hate that Skip went on and did something else, because Skip was going to get in that DC ass this year in Birmingham if Skip had the chance. There was going to be revenge upon revenge. But maybe Skip would be in the stands hanging out with us guys in the shirtless section. Big sexy yours truly and all the rest of the fellas, and see if we can reclaim that title, or at least get, at least knock, put a few dents in that shield in a few weeks.
The shirtless section. Wow.
But DC heavy lies the crown. You got a bullseye on you now. What you gonna do? Are we fixing to see the next dynasty? Are you fixing to get pimp slapped?
Here you go, Brett. He said it's easy to say that when Skip's not here, to say what he would have done.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you can say whatever you want to say, and it ain't got nothing to do with the fact Birmingham is my team. Skip would have got in that ass. I'm just telling you. Go back and ask teams. Here's my Nick Saban. Everybody take a shot.
Oh, yeah.
See what happened when you beat Nick Saban the next time you play him. He gets in that ass. And Skip was going to get in that door holder's ass. He's lucky. Skip took mercy on the man and went on and did something else. But all right, I digress. DC, to me, they're the heavy favorite. I don't care what Vegas says about Birmingham. DC is a team you're going to have to go through this year. And we've heard rumblings that the championship game might be in DC, which would be fantastic. But again, nothing was set in stone.
I think as I've looked through these rosters, I think, again, like you said, this could be totally flipped around at the end of the year. You never know. I mean, that's why I told Ed at the beginning of the show, the start of the UFL season is like Christmas morning. You're opening it up because you don't know what you have.
Right.
There's not one single person can sit here and say for sure that team's good, that team's bad. This team's good, that team's bad, because it's all Christmas presents. We got to open them up. We got to find out what we have, and it's going to take 2 or 3 games to know exactly, how close we are. But, I think 2 of the more talented rosters, overall rosters, is Birmingham and Columbus. I think Columbus has a very talented roster. I'm just not sure about the I don't know what the offensive and defensive lines are going to do. If the offensive line comes out and lays a big one, then I don't care how many talented guys you have around that, they're in trouble. But if they come out and they're pretty darn good, I could see Columbus making some noise. Birmingham's roster, and we'll talk about them. Same thing, very talented roster. But the one thing I think we could all agree on, and the reason that we are so high on DC is the same reason we would be high on a team in the NFL, in the NCAA, is they have Jordan Ta'amu. They have a healthy Jordan Ta'amu, and until, somebody knocks him off, we're going to give the nod to DC. And, of course, with the coaching staff. I mean, if you look, Birmingham, new coaching staff. St. Louis, new coaching staff. Orlando, new team altogether. Dallas, new coaching staff. Columbus, new team altogether. Houston, new coaching staff. Louisville Kings, new team altogether. I mean, so when you look at the quarterback and you look at the coaching staff, DC has that stability, I think, that we would all look for. So I think that's probably why, I mean, do I think Birmingham and Columbus have better rosters than DC? Yeah, I do. But, you know, the quarterback and the coaching staff can make all the difference.
And in week 1, big matchup between DC and St. Louis. DC comes to St. Louis. The only problem is Jordan Ta'amu loves playing in the Dome. And he usually has some of his best games in St. Louis. So get ready for that one. I think there's going to be plenty of scoring in that game. But
Chris nails it here. DC is the only coaching staff with a UFL playoff win.
Yep.
I mean,
no, that's why I've got them number 1. The core is back, and we'll see if St. Louis can get over the hump and beat DC at home. You know, DC has been very, very vocal and confident about owning the Dome, and we go in your trap and take your trap over, and just been a lot of talking that's leaked out. And be looking. We've got one more show before the kickoff next Friday. I think these power rankings in the top 4 might do a little bit more shuffling.
Well, Chris, make sure you look me up at the tailgate. You know where I'm at. I'll start your day off with a nice, oversized breakfast burrito. How's that sound? Can't beat that for an 11 o'clock start in the morning, can you?
It's T-bones for the Birmingham game, right, Ed?
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we got to get that set up.
So, since we have Chris on here, we're gonna do. Last week he put together some quarterback tiers for us, and this week he was hard at work again, and he sent us his running back tiers. And before I put them up, I just want to say, when you look at these tiers, if you watch First Things First, that kind of thing, you automatically think that if the running backs are on the top, that he's saying that those are the best running backs in the league. But I don't think that's, when I looked at his tiers, it's really the running backs grouped according to what their expertise is. Some are power runners, some are elusive, versatile. So let's go ahead and pop his up. And when I put him up, of course, it's going to take the whole screen. So our ugly mugs, you won't see our happy faces, but you'll be able to hear us talking behind the scenes. So here is Chris Tisdale, and again, thank you again. He's a DC fan that watched our show for a couple of years now, at least. Here's what he come up with for tiers. We got running backs. We got power running backs. We got elusive running backs. And we got versatile. So what do you guys think, Eric, when you first look at that list? Is there any that jump out at you, or any you necessarily disagree with that he's got here?
That's the first time I'm looking at it. Give me 1 second. I think one of them, and I know he doesn't put a mark on these for sure, but I mean, I think there's a couple of these. I mean, I think Toatawa, I watched him run with some power as well, but he's definitely a versatile running back. I think he's a total package. For Columbus, like I said, he's gonna be a handful running for that new team. Jarvion Howard, of course, we're familiar with him, St. Louis.
I'd put him more the power runner, wouldn't you?
Yeah, between him and Sailors, Howard always seemed like more of the power. Because Sailors was that versatile back. So we'll see. That's the one that stuck out to me was for St. Louis last year. He was more of the power guy. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But, if he becomes the actual feature back, we'll see if he is that versatile back and then can do kind of both of them. One of the names that jumps out to me that – and Brett, you could back me up on this or disagree with me, I guess, but Anthony McFarland for Birmingham, he really kind of faded last year. He was very, or Ed too. He wasn't as effective as I thought he would be. Maybe Birmingham is hoping for a resurgence.
Yeah, he's key to Birmingham. That might be one position we're a little bit lighter in. He brings so much to the table if he can stay healthy. And I agree with you. I don't know what happened at the end of last year. He obviously wasn't 100%. And it didn't help the fact that the team was just going backwards. The last 3 or 4 games, they were really playing for nothing.
Right.
But yeah, McFarland he could really play a big part in Birmingham's success this year. They really need to keep him healthy and get him off to a good start.
I was really happy to see him put Kayvon. God,
Latulis.
I was glad to see him put him on the list because last year he was third string behind Jacob Sailors and Jarvian Howard, and he really got lost and didn't really get a chance to play till late in the season. But when he did get a chance to play late in the season, I don't know it was because he still had fresh legs or what, but he really made some noise there towards the end. But, during the offseason, like I told you guys before, he's kind of started getting into bodybuilding. And I think he comes in to this season with a little bit of something to prove. And so if you look at a dark horse in the St. Louis backfield, I think Kayvon's he's a dynamite kid. Love the guy. Spent some time with him. And I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. I think he may open some eyes.
So Chris mentions the back from LSU, Brett, Davis Price. Being from LSU, I'm assuming you have infinite knowledge on him. I mean, what's your read on him? He thinks he's going to be a problem.
He can do. Top end. He's got a high ceiling. I don't really know what happened with the kid. It's just the littlest thing can get you out of the NFL.
Right.
Whether it's on the field, off the field, and that's why I repeatedly say or mention Isaiah Buggs for Orlando, because I think if Buggs stays healthy, he's going to be maybe the defensive lineman of the year in the league. He's something to watch. But yeah, Price is going to be interesting. I'm also excited to see Benny Snell going back home and playing in Louisville. Of course, he played just down the road in Lexington in Kentucky. It was kind of a folk hero there. So I really like that addition. And I'd be shocked if Benny don't make the team. Again, going back to the cuts, guys, there's going to be some names on this list right here that is going to probably get cut. But
right.
Keep in mind that, there's a couple teams that might be a little light at running back, a couple teams might be light at offensive lineman. So I imagine quite a few of the guys that get cut tomorrow will then immediately probably get picked up by the end of Friday with another team. So, and I hope that's the case for the guys to make it this far. It'd be tough to not get as many of them on the field as possible.
Yeah, like I said, a few of these other guys I don't know a whole lot about.
Abram Smith.
We know Abram Smith.
He's been with DC since for 23 for
23,
sure.
Yeah. I believe. Corbin, we're familiar with Corbin. But yeah, some of these guys will be interesting to see. And as well as I do, there's going to be a guy or two on here that we're not talking about. We didn't mention their name. And by the end of the year, we're going to be like, that guy is a dude. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I watched the couple of highlights on that kid that Ed just mentioned. And
Kayvon Latulis.
yeah, I don't. What I saw, my goodness, that kid you know, I've only seen a few highlights, but you throw bodybuilding in there with what I saw. I think he's going to be a difference maker for St. Louis this year.
He's a
He
break.
was really impressive from what I've seen.
He's a breakaway back.
Yeah.
I would say more so than Howard.
And he don't shy away from contact either, which freaks me about his longevity, you know. But then there again, he's probably 5% body fat, so I think he can handle some of the physicality that he's looking for.
But I would say, I mean, if I had to, man, if you had to put a top three, it'd be so tough to put a top three here. But I mean, my favorite back on here is probably Toatawa.
Yeah, he's got a lot of heart, and he runs hard. And I understand he's undersized, but I mean, we saw what he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I look at the Columbus Aviators roster. You know, at least, you know, in the running back, quarterback, receiver, tight end room, anyway. And I mean, they've got a roster, and Toatawa is a part of that. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Yep, just got question marks on that coaching staff, and like I said, I think the bottom four on my power rankings is going to be the same next Wednesday, but I've already made my mind up on some shuffling on the top four, so stay tuned.
So let's again, I want to thank Chris for putting that together for us. You know, after the cuts happen tomorrow, if Chris has the time to put together some wide receiver tiers, I'm sure we'd enjoy seeing those next week. But anyway, thanks again, Chris, for doing that. So, Eric, why don't you take us to a break?
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to dive into the teams, and we will start with DC. We will be right back.
Give me a minute here. I got to get that off there. All right.
Holy cow.
Well, you're supposed to.
As much as
you were supposed to get that off there, man. It's on you. Be quiet.
as much. First team up on my backdrop over here is the DC Defenders, number one in Brett's power rankings heading into the season. And I can understand why. I mean, DC pretty much brings back their coaching staff. I mean, Shannon Harris did an outstanding job as interim. Didn't take him long to make him permanent.
No.
And offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are both back. Fred Keiss and Blake Williams back in the saddle again. I mean, do you disagree, Eric? I mean, they have to be the overwhelming favorites to start the season.
I would say 100%. And for a couple of the reasons that I mentioned, obviously the coaching staff, but you know, having Jordan Ta'amu back is huge. You know, just like Dallas is going to be competitive with Luis Perez coming back, and we'll talk about them too. But, they also have, and I'm familiar with this kid. He's out of Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders. He's going to take some snaps. And they also have Delio. I have to learn how to pronounce these names eventually. So they've got a good quarterback room, I think, behind him, but obviously Jordan Tam, who sticks out. We talked about Abram Smith in the running back ranking. He's been, he was out of Baylor, I believe, and he's been with DC since 2023. So obviously, they've got a lot of familiar pieces. The one room, and this is going to be interesting. They've got some wide receivers. Obviously, everybody remembers Ty Scott, but they've got some receivers, with not a whole lot of time. I think it's going to be up to Jordan Tamu to make up for some of that. I mean, if you look at their receiver room, Ed, or do you kind of see the same thing? Like, Braylon Sanders is there. Cornell Powell off of last year, Javon Antonio, but those weren't the huge names that, we were used to seeing making plays.
Well, the one thing that jumps out to me, especially this year, I know that every year the talent gets better and better
right
in this league, but when you talk about protecting Ta'amu, just look at the size of these offensive linemen. Now, granted, some of these offensive linemen may not make the final roster, but right now they're two centers, 165, 369, 163, 326. You move to the tackle spot, 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", 322,
Right.
338, 315. Their center, 6'4", 339 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Another offensive lineman, 6'8", 313. I mean, and then they wonder why the quarterbacks can't be 5'10" and make it.
Right.
Hell, they need a step stool to see over the lineman.
It's just incredible, the size of these players. And that's on the offensive side of the ball. We haven't even talked about the defensive side. Now, on the defensive side, you use a little bit different style. You like your edge rushers to be a little lighter but be quick. But
Right.
your defensive tackles and your nose tackles usually have the girth. So, but holy cow, the offensive linemen across the board, and it's not just DC, as you'll see when we get into the other teams. These guys are mammoth. They're big individuals, man.
And Harris, he's big on the physicality. And my goodness, look at how they just ran roughshod over the league. What was it? The last two regular season games and the playoff game, the championship game. There wasn't a team in the league that could touch them at the end of the year, and that's facts.
Right.
They also got DeAndre Baker back, fellas. Cornerback out of LSU, controversial.
Georgia.
I can't believe a typical Georgia player.
Jesus, you're fired.
Yeah, I know I'm fired, and I'm an SEC guy.
Yeah,
on
right.
the wrong side of the hedges, boy.
He would probably still be in the league if it wasn't for some of his off the field stuff as well, with similar to Isaiah Buggs. Hopefully he'll get back in the league. They just re-signed him. I think it was yesterday. Very familiar with that kid. I can't believe I forgot that he went from one of my rivals to the other. That was my bad. But yeah, DC, I think it's going to be a lot of what we've seen in the past couple of years, a lot of ground and pound. They're going to feature their tight end. And then when you have to bring 8 in the box to try to contain their run, that's when they go over top with Tiamu.
Well, one of the things that, we talk about the training camp being so short and the fact that it takes these teams 2 or 3 weeks to gel. If you remember last year, DC was 6-4. They qualified for the playoffs at 6-4. Well, and this year, 6-4, there may be a log jam with like 15 tiebreakers. but it's not so much how you start; it's who's hot at the finish.
Right.
And DC's 6-4 record going into the playoffs last year did not represent the quality of the team because they kicked some ass once the playoffs started. I mean, they made I don't want to say easy work of St. Louis, but they beat them pretty handily in St. Louis. And then we all know what happened when they come back the next week against Michigan. That was just a good old-fashioned ass whooping. So there's no way to say anything but DC is the favorites this year. Thank you, Amanda. I know I put a lot of time. The only problem is I got to get the light shining on the Bandits flag a little bit. The old Renegade flag is kind of dark back there. The old Bandit looks a little dark, but
What's wrong with my flags, Amanda?
Eric flags, on the other hand, not so much.
The problem is I had
Still
all
the
my
best logo in spring football.
Yeah, best logo.
I haven't switched my UFL flags yet, but I've got to get a replacement for my Memphis flag. So I haven't decided which one. So leave me alone. All right. And I got to leave the Iowa State banner up there until March Madness is over. So.
And what I can't understand.
I'll take you up
What
on that.
is so hard about getting a St. Louis Battlehawks flag updated to the newest version?
Right.
Now when I went I went online, got all my flags. Walmart shipped me Columbus, Louisville, Houston Gamblers, Orlando Storm, gave me the latest and greatest right off the bat. I ordered a St. Louis flag, and it had online the new logo. But as you can see, when it come in, it's got the same old flag that they've had for years. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get the newest one out.
Yeah.
God,
nasty kitten head. Come on, Amanda. You must be talking about Brett now.
that is in honor of the Michigan Panthers. Just to let you know that they may be out, but one of these years they may reappear.
Looks like Brett froze. Cat's midstream. Maybe he's just hanging there.
Hey,
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. RIP.
Holy cow, did you hear this? Did you see this, Eric? See? This is what happened when you have dedication to this league. He's going to bring me a new DC jersey for my background. How about that?
As I said, you better take him up on it.
So now, I've got the Predator couples mask back there. Now I'm going to have a DC jersey. Okay, you fan bases out there. What else is Big Daddy Ed going to get for his?
What do you want us to rep here? What do you want us to rep?
That's right.
When Birmingham gets their revenge this year, Chris, I'm going to get something designed with a picture of a stallion running over a guy holding a shield with him getting crushed. That'll be my first ever official background.
You better hope that happens, because if it doesn't, there's going to be not one single comment in that line except for Chris is riding you the whole show.
You can tell that Coach Harris loved his roster, because when they had the draft, he didn't have his favorite tight end. So what did he do? He traded for him. So we got Briley Moore back in the building again. So I tell you what, when it comes to what you see on Facebook, what you see pressers out there, you see a little bit on DC, but I think they kind of like keeping things under wraps.
Yeah, he's not a.
I think they like keep things close to heart. And all I got to say is St. Louis is going to have to be ready when they come to town in week 1, because I think that it's going to be a hell of a football game.
Yeah, and looking at the defense that Shannon Harris always has, It seems like the offenses are always a little bit behind at the beginning, so oof. Could be a rough one. I think that's why I chose Birmingham, but that might not be any better by the third week. So Birmingham, right, Brett? Third week of the season.
Third week of the season, the Ham comes to town. Should be in Birmingham because we played in St. Louis last year, but that's not the way it happened. So,
well, is the real Ham coming up to watch Birmingham play?
I don't know. I'm going to try. I definitely won't be flying from what I hear right now from friends. It's going to be driving. It's going to be maybe I can get KJ to come with me. It'd be like National Lampoon's if you get me to driving that far because I'll be going down the road nodding off about every 30 minutes.
It isn't even. It's only, what is it, 6.5 hours? That's nothing.
I drive 4 hours a day.
Yeah. So 6.5 hours should be nothing. Should be nothing.
After work that Saturday, I could pull it all-nighter and drive. If Marty's still on the show, I saw him earlier, and thanks for sharing, Marty, on Facebook and X. He knows that used to be my job. If I can get Marty to go with me and me and him rotate, I'll come up, but I don't think I'll be flying. Not right now, not from what I'm hearing anyways.
Yeah, they're still not getting paid, so.
Come on, Marty. It's time to step up.
Yep.
Time to step up.
Best part about the game is the tailgate, right, Ed?
Oh, you'd see just a little short, fat grizzly bear over in the corner snoring at the tailgate, probably, because I'll probably be out.
No. We got a 2 p.m. kickoff for that Birmingham game. I'll probably be set up by about 7 o'clock in the morning. That is if I can get Eric and his boys up from downstairs. I mean,
hey, you're not worried about me. It's my wife and 2 boys getting up and getting motivated. My wife especially, because she's not really big into it.
Hey, well, she can always take an Uber.
Yeah, she ain't doing that either. She'll just complain the whole way.
So Chris asked me, what time do I start the tailgate with an 11 o'clock kickoff? Well, 11 o'clock kickoff's kind of a buzzkill. I mean, I'm glad that they're starting at 11 o'clock because St. Louis Cardinals are in town that weekend for the home weekend opener, and they got a game at 1:15 on that Saturday. So I think with the combination of DC coming to town and Nelly playing at halftime, I think that we're still going to see over 30,000 in the dome, but for 11 o'clock kickoff, I'll definitely be set up by 7 o'clock. So
I'll say Big Man will be there.
Yeah, but we're going to be having these big-ass breakfast burritos. And if you're the fan of breakfast burritos, boy.
See, they get breakfast burritos for DC. We get T-bones for Birmingham.
The only bad thing is you load those bad boys up with hot sauce. Good thing the old church leaves the door open for the tailgaters to use the facilities because it could be a bad thing out on a tailgate with no facilities.
Mr. Jones on Friday. Oh, damn. Oh, too much hot sauce. Oh, Lord.
There you go, Ed. There's the planning has already started, Ed.
Yep, the little dude's going to be next to us again. So
the Spam Musabi.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I tried that last year, but I'll try it. I'll try anything once. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think? Does that sound good, Eric?
I actually like Spam, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, back when times were tough, when we had 3 young kids, sometimes Spam had to be the real deal. So
did Grandma make it growing up?
Mama Bear made it.
My mom made oven sandwiches.
She used to fry Spam, and we'd have sandwiches. Actually, they weren't too bad.
You take Spam, Velveeta cheese, and Heinz 57 chili sauce, and you grind it all up, and then you put it on top of hamburger bun, and
Brent looks horrible.
Now, Fat Boy has an 8 cents lunch, and I'm fixing to have to dip out and go ahead and call my people up.
So speaking of Birmingham, we're going to move on to our next team, because if you remember when A.J. McCarron was the quarterback for the St. Louis Battlehawks, his mom, they made a point of being at all the St. Louis home games, and they had their RV that they parked, and it wasn't too far down from our tailgate.
pretty close.
And there was always that proud big banner displayed of A.J. McCarron. Well, a little birdie told me that week 3, when Birmingham comes to St. Louis, that once again, AJ's parents are going to be in town with their RV parked in the same spot they were parked at before.
Nice.
So
Huh.
I'm sure his kids are going to look a lot bigger than when we saw them last. But
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, if there's one question mark for the Birmingham Stallions, Brett, it's got to be A.J. McCarron and the coaching staff. So I'm going to let you take it away. And Eric and I probably just will go play Tiddlywinks or Dominoes, because
Yeah.
we'll probably get to talking about a half an hour. But why don't you take it away, Brett, and start, and we'll Eric and I'll try to inject some things, but go ahead.
There's just so many unknowns with Birmingham. I mean, we know that we got some of our core back over that we've had the last 2 or 3 years. But so many new guys. But I mean, I think universally, just about everyone said that they thought Birmingham won the draft. We'll see. That some of those guys came, some of them didn't. We had that discussion probably a month ago on the show. I'm more curious about the defensive line once again. That was really, you could tell that offensive line and defensive line was just not where they had been in previous seasons last year. Now, and that was kind of Birmingham's undoing. I like the pieces they've got. A little worried at one of the tackle spots. They re-signed a guy that had been with Green Bay in the past. He'd been with Birmingham 2 years ago and did a fantastic job with Birmingham. And I can't even think, of course, you put me on the spot, I can't think of his name, but he looks like a Viking. I'm very excited to have him back. But the lines of scrimmage, again, you've already went over what DC had signed and brought back, and again, DC is going to be a real problem once again this season. Birmingham is absolutely loaded at wide receiver. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 guys cut from Birmingham wide receiver that's going to end up on another roster somewhere else.
Well, it probably isn't going to be. It's probably not going to be Marcus Sims, and it's probably not going to be Deion Kane. You also have David Davis. Marlon Williams. We've got a embarrassment of riches, and we got Thomas back at tight end as well. And you want to talk about how big some of these guys are. We were. I think he's 6'4", 6'5", isn't he?
And all muscle, and he is long. He's a huge guy. I remember walking by him in the tunnel, headed to the interview room after one of the games last year, and I was like, good God, that's our tight end. The dude is
6'5", 285.
Was he Old Miss or Mississippi
monster.
State? Brett, was he Old Miss or Mississippi State?
Mississippi State. He was Bulldog. Dude, I'm going to tell you what. He's a hell of a blocker, and there's nobody big and tall enough and long enough to cover him. He's, I wonder if he couldn't get a little more quickness if he lost about 20 pounds, 20, 25 pounds. But talk about a beast. He has made some big catches for Birmingham over the last couple of years. I mean, you've got quarterbacks 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot trying to cover this guy. I mean, it's a joke.
Offensive lineman, 6'5", 6'5", 6'8", 6'5", 6'6", 6'6", 6'4", 6'4". I mean, and it's just, and every one of them, every one of them top 310 pounds.
Yeah.
But you can look at every roster and see that. But I got to keep pointing that out because
that Chernak, he was out of a smaller school, and I can't remember which one it was. He's 6'8", 330 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, what does a 6'8", 330-pound human being look like standing next to him?
Oh, dude, it's crazy how big some of these guys are. You know, I'm excited to have a leader back on defense this year, JoJo Tillery. Been in our secondary every year. This going on, year number 5. And JoJo's a smart player. He's smart. We lost quite a few of the rest of the secondary, but I really feel like JoJo can hold it down. He's kind of the captain of the secondary out there.
Eric, are you going to answer that question?
What question?
Eric was going to come.
David wants to know if you're coming to St. Louis this weekend.
No, I'm coming the 3rd week for the Birmingham game.
You know, John, I was going to give Eric shit for not coming to St. Louis this weekend, but then I looked at what tickets cost to go to these games.
So did I.
It's like, holy crap. I mean,
it would have been
Omaha to St. Louis airline ticket was what? $553?
$563 for a plane ticket there and back.
Well, I'd ride a bike for that. I mean,
and then another $500 for tickets.
And that's just Friday's game. You haven't gone to Sundays yet.
Right. So, yeah.
I don't know if Eric could be happy about this or sad about this, but I'm usually pretty good with my brackets. We did a bracket for work this week. I got Iowa State in the Final Four.
Here's the deal, and this isn't basketball, but they have a real shot. It is what it is. I mean, unless their shooting goes cold, that can happen. So.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to get back.
Right. That's why I left it right there. I wasn't going any further.
It's John's fault. If John would have just shut his trap.
Yep. I know.
Man, here's the key with Birmingham. I think there's roster from A to Z is second to none. I firmly believe that. And it's not, again, because I'm a Birmingham fan. I was scared and nervous about the draft. And pick after pick after pick, I was like, wow. AJ did, and I'm sure the other coaches helped him. He got some assistance from whoever. I don't know. But real proud of how AJ did that day. Real question is going to be when you're on the road, game 1, only 14, 15,000 seat stadium, but when the fans are right on top of you and it's going to be packed, and we face some adversity, and we will, how's AJ going to handle that? Because all these eyes of these professional football players, whether they're 24, 28, 30, 25, they've seen a little bit of everything in their careers. And how is AJ going to handle that adversity is going to be a big, big thing moving forward I think to how successful we can be throughout the season.
Here's your big question mark. This is what I think the biggest question mark for Birmingham is, period, bar none, and I'm going to make a prediction. I predict by the end of the year, Taylor Elgersma is your quarterback because Matt Corral's inconsistency is going to cost Birmingham early on, and if Elgersma has shown anything, he's going to pull the trigger on it. I like Matt Corral. But you know as well as I do as a Birmingham fan, you know who he is. He is who he is.
Yep.
Now, maybe A.J. McCarron has been able to help him. I don't know. But at this point, I mean, I just feel like because Matt Corral, I mean, he's what, 28? something like that. So, I mean, you kind of are who you are at 28, aren't you? Maybe not.
Yeah, and look, I go back to watching him at Ole Miss. You know, I've followed the kid. I like the kid. He's a nice kid. You know, we've interviewed him before. He can make some plays with his legs and with his arm, and you're like, how in the hell is this guy not in the league?
Yeah.
And then the next two games, you're like, oh.
There it is. There it
Yeah, it's just, I mean, he can make the throws. He can, and he can scramble and dodge guys and throw it full speed on the run and drill them in 25 yards downfield. And you're like, wow.
I think we all remember Matt Corral when Adrian Martinez had an issue. Matt Corral came in and completely bailed Birmingham out.
Yep, got us to the championship game because Michigan had us beat 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I know that Matt Corral's there, but I also know the whole Matt Corral as to why I'm making that prediction. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong for Matt Corral's sake, but I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to watch how AJ interacts with these quarterbacks because AJ's young, so he's full of piss and vinegar. You know how it is when you're younger. You're you know, and keep in mind who coached AJ and what he went through at Alabama.
Right.
And now, you know, AJ's been, you know, to the Bengals. He's been to the Falcons. He's been to all these NFL rosters. And now he's the head coach, and he played the position forever.
Say it, Brett. Yeah, you had everybody pouring a shot, and they were getting ready
and
to
then
break,
you totally dance around.
Who did he play for?
Who did he play for at Alabama?
The GOAT. The man levitated. I've seen it myself.
Nick Saban, there, take your shot.
Nick Saban,
some water instead of shot. I gotta be.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I'm nervous because that's the thing. You know how it is, guys. And everybody questioned, my God, how does Skip get away with that? How does Skip, you know, look at how he talks. Look, Skip was a fantastic coach. He was a fantastic guy. I miss Skip. I know all the fans miss Skip. We do. You don't understand. He would go out of his way to interact with you at all these events, before the game, after the game. I kind of asked him a couple tough questions one night last year, and I went to apologize to him in the tunnel afterwards, and he was red-faced. I thought, man, he's fixing to pimp slap me, and he just grinned and put his hand on my shoulder and said, it's all right, Brett, I get it. I understand. I was like, man, I had to ask. He's like, I know. He just had a way with people, you know, and that's my concern is we might have 12, 15 players on the team that has been with Skip for 2 or 3 years, and everybody's personality is different. When Birmingham, if we get down 10-0, or if something bad happens in Louisville, how's AJ going to respond, and how are the players going to react to how it's not just X's and O's. It's really not. Birmingham cannot go home 0-3. Our first 3 games on the road is not an easy schedule. I mean, if they get to 2-1 going home, they're in really good shape.
Remember, Brett said that, Eric, because when they have that one loss,
let me write that down real quick. Brett says
2-1 is okay.
Is okay. Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I want to lose to the damn chicken hawks, but I mean, you know, I guess St. Louis, they had to beg, like, look, we can't beat Birmingham and Birmingham. But have them come to St. Louis again.
You know, you would think somebody who mentions every show that Birmingham was 3-time spring football champion back to back to back, that you would not concern yourself with little things like that. But gosh, you seem awful hung up on that.
Well, the past is the past. and we've got to move forward. But no, I'm really excited about the season. But I mean, you guys know as well as I do, considering Skip step down or whatever happened, it could get very, very, very vocal and very interesting in Birmingham this season.
Yeah,
So,
Birmingham and 7 other teams.
yeah,
Well, 6,
yeah,
because there's 7 teams with new staffs.
yeah.
So with that, let's move things along, and let's talk about our next team, which is the Dallas Renegades. And one thing you notice this year is new head coach at the helm, Rick Neuheisel. And, they always called Luis Perez the king of spring. But let's face it, I mean, the last couple of years, Luis has kind of fallen on a little hard times. I mean, and so you kind of wonder if maybe with Coach Stoops, he kind of got comfortable because Coach Stoops didn't really ever hold his iron to the fire, so to speak, at least talking to us, talking to the media and stuff last year. You never really got the idea that Luis was really being coached or really coached hard. So there was a press conference today, and Coach Neuheisel was asked about the progress of Luis Perez this year, and courtesy of the UFL, now I will say the video on this is kind of turned the wrong direction. So if you want to, now's the time to lay down on your couch. If you want to lay down on your couch, this will look just right.
Yeah.
But anyway, courtesy of the UFL, here is the question that was asked to Coach Neuheisel.
And finally, also from a quarterback and coaching standpoint, can you break down a bit more what you were saying about Luis Perez and 7 people coming up and you got to move your feet?
Well, listen, it's the quarterback's job is to complete a pass to the guy in the same colored jersey. And to do that, he has to have operating time. Now that requires the front to, block and give him a pocket and all that kind of stuff. But your time is precious. And so your feet have to be in absolute coordination with the route, and your feet and your eyes have to be taking pictures of where you have an opportunity to throw the ball successfully and complete it. And so that has to happen with some urgency. And sometimes Luis, because he's such a, diligent student, he takes too much time. And I got to get that tempo up. I've even put a app on my phone now that has the metronome, so he knows I got to pick that up.
So
comfort zone maybe busted a little bit there.
Comfort zone, he kind of, we'll see how he reacts with the coach that's kind of putting a little heat on him and, telling him that he's got to improve. So,
well, I mean, I was looking up here real quick. Luis has got to be 31.
Go ahead and steal my thunder, Eric.
Well, I mean, he's 31 years old. I mean, you're not, it's like trying to get a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers to do something different, or telling 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers to speed it up a little bit or whatever. Like it's probably tough. The problem is, and I don't know, I'm looking at their quarterback room right now. I think Austin Reed has some good characteristics and some potential. But I think Luis Perez is going to be their quarterback, good, bad, or ugly. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go to Luke Lennon. I just don't think they're going to. Austin Reed has potential. I only know him from being on the Chicago Bears, but outside of that, man, I don't know. I hate to say it, but it's kind of like this. I kind of look at Dallas like I looked at, Pittsburgh this year. It's a great story, aging quarterback. Maybe doesn't have the same skills he had 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever. I mean, am I wrong in saying that, yeah, Luis Perez is a great story, but might he be getting a little too old for this game? Like I said, when you don't have the Aaron Rodgers or the Brett Favre or the Tom Brady skills, might he be getting a little old for this game?
I noticed that last year it looked like he had picked up a little weight too, and not in the weight room weight, kind of the Brett weight. He'd been eating good in the neighborhood, and Luis has never been known to be mobile by no stretch of the imagination. But I go back to Luis in 2019 with the Birmingham Iron of the AAF. And so I've got to watch him over the last 6-7 years, and I've got a couple questions on. I think it's McGinnis. I want to say his name is left guard that he played with Birmingham in year 1 of the USFL, then went to the XFL and has been with the Renegades ever since. He recently retired. Sal Cannella, which has been a security blanket for Luis the last couple of years. Sal Cannella is still on an NFL roster with the Cleveland Browns right now. So those questions come to mind, and Neuheisel's not wrong. Luis has been known to try to turn a 2-second play and be scrambling around for his life, and I mean, he put up more passing yards than anyone in the league last year. But again, I've been so high on Dallas the last 3 seasons, and they've just been so close but so far in most of their games. They've just always found a way to lose. And you wonder if the new coaching staff can change that. Do they have the weapons? Main thing is, with the offensive line, Luis can do some damage. I'm real anxious to see the week 1 matchup. And I believe that's in Houston against the Gamblers.
You want to hear the 2 tackles that are going to be protecting his blind sides? His blind side and his right side. 6'7", 328, 6'6", 345.
What are those guys' names? I can't even remember, but I know they're the big guard retired.
Well, they picked up a fan favorite, at least certainly a favorite of our show. The bottom line is Abdul Beecham.
Oh, wow, that's right. Yeah, that was.
He's 6'2", 317. I really hated to see him go.
Oh, me too.
I was kind of hoping, he got injury. He got plagued with injuries there towards the end of last season. So
yeah,
I think it really went a long way and really hurt the Battlehawks rushing game, because that's pretty much what St. Louis was built on last year, was running the ball. And I think Beecham being hurt the second half of the season really hurt him. But I don't know. I think the change of coaches is going to be good for Dallas. I think that towards the end of last year, you could really see Coach Stoops was frustrated just with the whole thing. Excuse me. I mean, his press conferences were pretty chippy. I think some new eyes on things might be a good thing. And, they've got Tyler Vaughns, of course, but they've also got Denzel Mims, who, who's out of Baylor, and he played with the Battlehawks last year. So they've also got another wide receiver that I didn't realize, but then in today's presser, there was a wide receiver by the name of Drake Stoops. You may know who that is. It's the son of the old Coach Stoops. So if everybody wants to lay down on their couch again, we're gonna let you see his comments on what it's been like being the coach's son.
Appreciate you taking the time. I just want to ask about, Bob Stoops obviously was the coach in Dallas for the last few years, won a championship with the team. Do you kind of feel like you've got to carry the Stoops legacy here with the Renegades a little bit?
Nah, I mean, I don't ever feel that pressure of Stoops' legacy. I didn't feel that at Oklahoma. Like I said, I try and better myself, every day, brick by brick, committed to the process. And ultimately, I'm trying to play to my standard and pursue excellence. And that's what that's the legacy I want to leave, is being a good teammate and being an excellent, consistent, reliable football player. And my last name could be John Doe, it doesn't matter. So I'm just trying to play good football and be the best person I can be.
I like that answer.
And I think that kid's going to be a coach one day. I mean, which that's not taking a, stab in the dark.
Like his dad? Holy crap.
Yeah. Yep.
But so I think, I don't know. I'm a little bit higher on Dallas than most. I got Dallas competing right there for a playoff spot. I think they're going to be right there. They've always had a quality team. I like their additions. They got several players that I was familiar with off the Battlehawks roster when they had the draft, and Beacham being one of them and Mims being another. But I think there was like 5 or 6 players that they drafted that were on the Battlehawks roster last year. So
Ontario Cole was another one.
Yeah, so I think that I really look for them to put a decent year together, and let's see. I think Antoine Jackson. I think that was another Battlehawk from last year.
Yeah, I know Quinterio Cole, Abdul Beecham, Denzel Mims. Did Sebastian go there, or did he go somewhere else?
Yeah, Brandon Sebastian, defensive back. He went to Dallas. I really hated to see Sebastian go. He's a hitter, man. But so what do you guys think of their defense? I look at their nose tackle, 6'3", 347.
What is it again? I can't even think.
Siaki Aka. He was a Baylor guy.
Yeah, that's
I knew
why
it was a Baylor guy.
Name down, because I had a chance in hell of being
Siaki.
able to pronounce her name. Siaki
Aka. Ika. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I believe he played for Baylor. Big dude.
Yep, he did.
So, yeah, I mean, they, and Donald Payne, Antonio Ortiz are back at the linebacker, or not Donald Payne. They've got a new linebacker, younger kid. I think he's out of Florida or Florida State. Kalen Deloach. You know anything about him, Brett?
Yeah, he's dynamic. He's very physical.
He's not a big guy, but I know
he's undersized.
He's undersized, but I know he's physical.
Yeah.
In a UFL, that's really not a killer. They do have Antoine Jackson. He was a Brahma. He was at Ohio State, I know. Darius Morang, is it Morang? He was at
There's
Kansas.
just so many unknowns this season, which I think is part of the excitement.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like Christmas morning. You get open Christmas presents and you don't know what you get till you get to watch the games, and that's what's fun about it.
Other than DC, I really don't think we know what we're going to get. And can DC, they went off last year at the end of the season, but it's a new year. And they've got a lot of new pieces, so.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, it's like Christmas morning. I can't wait.
Absolutely. So I love Excalibur to death, but, he comes in the comment line and kind of ruffled my feathers, because, he's talking about another podcast and then he says that he's watching it instead of ours.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a chance to be suspended.
That might be it right there.
But you'll have to see Excalibur's rally towels coming up this next week, as think you're going to see something called the Bottom Line Podcast. It's going to be on those towels once again this year. Looks mighty fine is all I got to say.
See, do I got? Oh, I got it hanging up. I've got the one from last year. I got it hanging up. Not taking it down.
So, fellas, let's step back a little bit. All three of us, yay or nay on DC going to the playoffs this year?
Yay.
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 Shot.
Birmingham.
Yay.
Yay.
I don't know. All right. Renegades.
No.
I'm pulling for yay, but again, I have been bitten by them so many times the last 3 seasons. I'm going with nay. And I hope I'm wrong.
I look at Dallas as being one of the teams involved in a tiebreaker at the end of the year on getting in, and I think, oh God,
or that they've got to win their last game of the season, and whether they win that game or not means they get a chance in the playoffs. That type scenario.
Who do they play the last week? So I'll make that final tally then.
I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me.
I've lost faith in Luis Perez, so they are a nay for me.
Well, I mean,
I got to look it up because Brett set the stage, so you gotta be able to find out. Let's see, Dallas Renegades schedule. Week 10. Oh no.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Where?
That could be. It is at St. Louis.
Yeah, for some reason, Louis has got their number.
That could even be a win and you're in for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that case, I'm going to have to say nay.
I'm nay.
Yeah, nay.
So we should have done that on last week's teams because we got to come out. You can only have 4.
We still got to talk about St. Louis.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
we're jumping the gun here a little bit.
Has anybody got anything left to say for Dallas before we turn the page to St. Louis?
Well, speaking of having some off time, I could probably go smoke a pack of cigarettes now that you guys are fixing to talk about St. Louis. I'm going to take a nap, come back in a couple hours.
Gonna be that.
All I can say is this year is going to be for the St. Louis Battlehawks a breath of fresh air because we are basically bringing back the core of our wide receiving core for the 3rd year in a row. That pretty much was Hakeem Butler, Blake Jackson, Gary Jennings, Ja'Cour Pearson.
And also Frank
Darby
back.
we had last year. Yeah. James Bostic. He must impress St. Louis because James Bostic goes on and off our roster. All last season they brought him back late. This year he didn't start off, but now they got him on the roster again, so we'll see if he makes the cut. But we basically got the same wide receiving core for really intact for most of 2-3 years now, but totally underutilized. Was not used whatsoever.
Completely.
And so then Hakeem Butler come out. I saw an interview with Hakeem Butler beginning of the week, and he was, let's just say, he was very confident about how he performs against DC. and I thought, week 1 in St. Louis, DC coming to town. Do you really want to do bulletin board material for week 1? I don't know.
Ooh.
But you have a new head coach now who's already said he's putting the ball in the air. And then you got A.J. Smith as your offensive coordinator, and we all know how dynamic he is as an offensive coordinator. And then you've got the running back room like we've got.
I love our running back room.
I shouldn't say me. I'm impartial here, like the St. Louis Battlehawks have. I think that the offense can be pretty dynamic. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I really like our running back room. I think that's going to be a strength. Of course we have cuts tomorrow, so some of these guys we talk about, but AJ Smith reuniting with Justin Smith off the Brahmas. He could grab a spot in that wide receiver room. I mean, there's just and
Brandon Silvers, who they said hasn't really solidified the starting quarterback position yet. That it's between him and Harrison Frost.
But see, that's what scares me.
But now you've got the guy that I think you wanted all along that decided not to come originally, and now that he's signed with you, I mean, he's only got a week before the season starts, but Pratt might ultimately be the starter in St. Louis.
Yeah, what scares me about that is this. We had Frost and Woolridge in camp. Woolridge is gone. Silvers obviously has all of the experience, UFL experience, clear back to the XFL.
And he has the experience with A.J. Smith.
And he has the experience with A.J. Smith as well. And yet he hasn't solidified the spot. So does that tell me that, yes, we want to put the ball in the air, we want to stretch the field, we want to do those things, but we can't? And I would say more so, Birmingham, it's the biggest question I have with St. Louis. I mean, you can say what you want about what AJ accomplished or didn't accomplish in St. Louis, but to me, and, some people say, that's just a St. Louis fan. No, I kind of look at it like this. Just like Brett and I have talked 100 times about, when the Bears don't have a very good defense, we don't even know what to think, because when you think of Chicago, it's defense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, last year, when I looked at the Battlehawks, I'm like, okay, good quarterback, solid team, let's roll. Man, last year, the quarterback room was weak. And you owe that to A.J. McCarron. Whether he accomplished what we thought he should or not, it's irrelevant. But, this year I kind of look at it, and I hope I'm wrong, but the quarterback room to me, I just look at it and I say, wah, wah, wah. I mean, I see all these names. I see Howard, the Toulis in the backfield with Harris as potentially a possibility there. We got Butler, Darby, Jackson, Pierce. I mean, we got the whole boss, all the guys back together. Fina, Petey on the defensive side. And guess what? I didn't say a quarterback where I'm like, ooh, that's our guy. What are we doing?
Well, we asked that. That was a big question for St. Louis going into last season when you had that big controversy, with Coach Beck letting AJ go. And you thought, well, we all thought they had a guy. AJ got his pink slip. Well, whatever happened, whatever. And St. Louis, and Beck didn't have a plan.
No.
That was obvious as the day is long. There's no way that he let go of AJ thinking Manny Wilkins was going to be his quarterback. There's no way.
No.
And again, we brought up Matt Corral. I'm very, very, very familiar with Silvers. He's a guy, again, now he's a different style guy. He's big, strong, and got a big arm. He's not nimble. And again, he makes some throws and you're like, where's this been? And then the next 3 to 5 throws, you're like, my God, who was that, Silvers?
Right.
Yeah, that's that. I agree with you, Eric. That's the question mark in St. Louis this year, I feel. But I am excited to see I think Beck did a good job there, but I wonder if he didn't hold St. Louis back sometimes with some of the conservative stuff. Because again, up until this year, I don't think there was a wide receiver room that could compete with St. Louis.
No.
Now, I think Birmingham's can this year, but in the previous couple of years, I mean, like you had guys nobody could cover, and you couldn't get them the ball, you know, and that, but there's no way the St. Louis team, in my opinion, is not going to the playoffs. It would be a meltdown on the sidelines if that was to happen. It would be the coaching staff if this roster doesn't make it to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you guys remember Cordero from last year? Quarterback?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
This is our partner in the tailgating a lot, talking about how last year he really had the locker room and he was kind of a front runner amongst the players. And he was talking about being disappointed they didn't bring him back for another shot this year. So,
and I don't know this Pratt that they're bringing in. I mean, I had heard, and you'd mentioned, I think you mentioned, Ed, that was maybe the guy they wanted all along.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so is it week 2 or 3 that guy's ready to go? Like,
yeah.
You know, what are we doing here? It's not a long enough season to take 5 weeks off and then try to make it up on the backside. I mean, you know, Panasiewicz is obviously our anchor on the offensive line at center. You know, we've got some pieces back as far as, you know, the defensive side and the backfield, whatever, but
we've got our defensive line should be really tough.
Yeah.
You got Speedy on one side, you got Pete on the other.
That's the problem.
The defensive line is solid. The problem is that St. Louis was decimated in the draft. They lost a lot of their linebacking core, their defensive backs, their safeties, all went to other teams, and they had to kind of revamp. Now, like I said before on a previous show, PETA, when I had a chance to talk to PETA about it, he said, "Don't you worry, we're stacked." Well, I guess we're going to find out, because if they are stacked and St. Louis puts a quality defense on the field, man, I tell you what, with A.J. Smith as offensive coordinator,
yeah, I mean,
he's got to know what Brandon Silver's strengths are, and if they start off with Brandon Silvers as the starting quarterback, I got to believe that A.J. and please, JPZ, Ja'Cour Pearson, just a slant every now and then. Just run him. Just let him do a slant.
Yep. Get up the seam.
God,
get up the seam.
Good God. But anyway, I got to believe AJ. I put my faith. I put my faith in A.J. Smith, because he did awesome things for San Antonio, and it was a shame to see him leave the league last year, but he is back.
Well, I thought he deserved a head coaching job. I thought
he did too. That's why he left.
Yeah, I mean, I really did. I do. That is the one thing. So when I just looked at the roster, the quarterback room was what really stuck out to me. Like, oh, where do I find my faith at here? And like you, Ed, I'm putting my faith in A.J. Smith. I just am.
Well, but then we can turn around to Brett and ask Brett this question. The St. Louis Battlehawks defensive coordinator is the old Birmingham Stallion defensive coordinator, Corey Chamblin.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from him as a defensive coordinator?
Well, again, you know, me being a defensive guy, that's the first thing I look at, and I noticed at the beginning of the last season. We had good guys off the edge. We had no penetration in the middle, but I thought Chapman was too conservative. I put some of last season on Chamberlain. I thought at times we were playing more of a bend, don't break style. And I thought once that he started letting it go and bringing some blitzes and mixing some things up, we could kind of hide the fact that we were light in the loafers in the two tackles in the middle. I wish, and I wish him the best. But I personally thought he was just too vanilla and too conservative. That's just outside looking in. But now, again, Birmingham had 2 or 3 good edge rushers. St. Louis has got 2 really good edge rushers. We're very, you just mentioned them. I think if he mixes it up more and prods him to bring more blitzes than twice a game like he did in Birmingham, I think St. Louis will be very good defensively. But he was way too Lovie Smith for me, and I'll sometimes you just gotta. You don't have to blitz, but you can at least fake a blitz. You know what I'm saying? It was just too. You knew where we were going to be, and we just couldn't. We really struggled to overcome that last year defensively.
What do you think, Eric, of the bend don't break mentality of defense? I know what I think about it, but I want to hear
I know exactly what I think about it because I've watched it since Brian Urlacher retired from the Bears. I've watched it for so many years. Listen, I get the philosophy. I mean, I'm a football coach. I get the philosophy of it. You make them earn every yard between the 20s, and then that field condenses, and then we're really going to play defense from the 20 in. But gosh dang it, man. It is so frustrating because the only time that I love the bend don't break defense is this. When you can put an offense on the field that can score points. Because a bend don't break offense forces a lot of field goals if it's good, or defense
right.
If it's good, it forces a lot of field goals, and you have an offense that can go down and get touchdowns. That's when it's great. When it's bad is, you force field goals, but then you give that touchdown up, and your offense can't keep up. I mean, if your offense is average, then your defense better put the foot on the gas and try to create turnovers, try to create chaos, try to create anything that you can to try to give your offense a chance. But if you have an average offense and a bend don't break defense, it's just so bad to watch.
And I hate to bring up the Birmingham Heat like I always do, but when you're playing these games like we are in April and May, and even 1st of June, that bend don't break. You're out on the field. Your defense out on the field a good bit. And I can't tell you how many times I was hanging out with the buddies down there. Came down from the press box so I could actually say something and yell. And say, God, we got to blitz. We got to show blitz. And a few times when we blitzed, you could tell that it energized the defense. The offense had no answer for it. And then if you would line up in the same formation, fake the blitz, and you still had them. He was just the end of the Dallas game, which was at the beginning of the year in Birmingham, and then all the way to about week 9 when he finally started sending a couple blitzes. I was so ultra frustrated with Chamberlain last year. I'm not going to lie. I didn't necessarily want him to go to another team. I wanted him to be successful, but it did not hurt my feelings when I found out he was not coming back, and I'll leave it at that.
So Ed, your bend don't break philosophy is what?
I don't want the bend don't break.
No.
If you're gonna have the high flying offense that it sounds like he wants to have, put the ball in the air and score points, then I want the defense to take chances. I want the defense to put the heat on the quarterback, play with the lead. Once we get the lead, I want to pin the airbacks and pin your ear back and go after the quarterback.
Right.
Because that's the difference of putting games out of reach. This bend don't break just ends up keeping the game close until the fourth quarter, and then anything can happen. And we saw that. We've saw that enough the last 2 years with Coach Beck. It's just conservative, keep the game close, grind out wins. But then the first time something goes wrong and you get down by 1 or 2 touchdowns, you don't have the fight. You can't. It's too late. You can't come back.
Yep, and that's what I hate about it.
I mean, with this running clock too, fellas, I remember quite a few games last year with Birmingham. If you guys remember, I think just about every game last year but one, Birmingham had to come back at the end. And we would have 2 drives on defense where we were giving up 5 minute, 6 minute, 7 minute, 8 minute, 10-minute drives with that running clock, and it shrinks the game. And you just don't get enough possessions, because you're out there letting the dude catch the ball in front of you 4 yards every play. It's just, I wish Chapman all the best. And I hope you guys do well this year. But man, he was to me, he was Lovie Smith 2.0 last year. I was so damn frustrated watching our defense.
That's good news.
It was almost like Christmas, though, when he did bring the blitz. I mean, hell, your damn hair would stand up on your arm. You're like, hey, this defense might be pretty good. And then you don't see another blitz for the next 28 plays,
Well, it sounds like ticket sales are going to be north of 30,000, which for a home opener with Nelly, I got to think that if it's north of 30, they'll be happy. But I think that if you want to pack that house and you want to pack that Battle Dome, the fans want to see excitement. And yes. I think the style of play that Coach Beck had while he was a head coach just lulled everybody to sleep, because it was just run the ball, play defense, run the ball, play defense, have the quarterback run the ball, play defense, and get some excitement going, get the ball in the air, score some points, defense causing turnovers. I think it can really catch fire and really turn out to be a good season. So having said that, go ahead, Eric, and then we're going to do the game.
I've seen 2 games in the Battle Dome. 2 3-point wins.
Well, then you don't need to bring your ass down there for the Birmingham game then.
I'm just saying, it's exactly how he described it. He's obviously seen every game, but it's the same mentality. Grind it out, have a shot at the end. Either your defense holds or you kick a field goal to win it.
Wow, guys, let me tell you what, that Birmingham-St. Louis game this year might be just wild and woolly. It might be 38-35.
I hope you're right.
With those two offenses,
we're gonna get to watch it in person.
That's right. So the Giant, yay or nay on the St. Louis Battlehawks for the 26th season? I say yay. I think they'll be one of the top 4 standing at the end of the season.
Yeah, even with my questions at quarterback, because I really feel like, from what I heard, that they had their mindset on Pratt and thought that was going to be their guy, and it really kind of threw a kink in things. And look, he'll be fine come week 2 or 3. I'll say this, though, for DC and for St. Louis, this is a brutal-ass game opening weekend. That's a brutal game for both these teams. I mean, whoever goes 0-1, you kind of, you're bent over, so to speak, got to win that second game. And there's going to be one of those teams that leave St. Louis with a loss. But something really bad and unexpected would have to happen, in my opinion, for St. Louis to not make the playoffs this year. They've just got too much talent. So I'm definitely saying yay.
Yeah, I mean, there's the roster's talented. New coaching staff. Maybe Pratt by second or third week is the guy. Maybe Silver surprises me. Like I said, the quarterback is the biggest question to me. But I do agree with you, Brett. If they don't make the playoffs, it's because, maybe Columbus comes out of nowhere, even though I think Columbus could very well be a playoff team. Or Orlando's really good and we just didn't see it coming, or whatever it is, on paper, they should be a playoff team. So I say yay, even though I was kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a real.
Well, I mean, you've got questions on every one of these teams coaching except for DC.
Right.
And to me, it would have to be a monumental collapse for DC to not make the playoffs. I don't even know if there's odds on whether or not they make the playoffs or not, but I mean.
So here's some. You gotta hand it to old Mike Rapoli. He's trying to get everybody excited, get everybody geared up for the season. I think it's huge that the NFL Network is taking a couple games this year. I think it goes to show that you may see some eventually some NFL, UFL working together on some things. I guess the proof will be in the pudding, but for the NFL Network to cover a couple of the games is huge. But we normally just had, fan appreciation days, and they'd be a month or two before the season. This year we had those, but we got round 2. So this weekend, the weekend before, we got some fan fests that are going to be going on. The first one, March 20th. Brett, that's what, Friday night?
Yep, Friday from 4 to 6 in Hoover.
And I got to believe that Brett will try and make that one if at all possible.
Yeah, that's the plans. Me and Marty's going to go. I know Jay's going. Should be a lot of folks there.
Please tell me, Brett, that somebody – I just read this.
What's that?
Tell me somebody gets a picture of you jumping around in the inflatables.
Who said that?
It says, enjoy inflatables, giveaways, coach and player appearances, and more. I swear to God.
There you go. Can you see Brett in a bounce house?
Oh, I want to see Brett in there with a bunch of 7- and 8-year-olds just fucking bucking it up.
P-Land's wrong. One time there's going to be some ricocheting going on in that bad boy.
Oh, yeah. There'll be all kinds of – it's going to sound like a Rice Krispie going off in there.
Please get a picture in one of the inflatables. That would be fun.
Another fan fest we got going on. This Saturday at the Wharf for DC, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern time. So, gonna get them reared up and go. I got a jersey coming, guys. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Louisville's got a fan fest going on, and actually, it's tonight.
Oh wow, it's tonight. I forgot all about it.
4 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Wait, that's tomorrow night, Ed.
Oh, that's right. Today's Wednesday. It's Thursday. So tomorrow night, all you Louisville fans, tomorrow night, 4th Street Live, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Fan Fest, Louisville kickoff. Getting ready for just one short week when Birmingham comes to town. Then you want to talk about a Fan Fest coming up on Saturday. You got the NCAA tournament going on in St. Louis. And so the downtown will be full from that alone. So Ballpark Village will be balls to the wall because of the NCAA with all the big screens and everything. Imagine having a Battlehawks fan fest the same day at Ballpark Village. So
Yeah, you should go to that.
I am going to that. It's gonna be shoulder to shoulder. We're gonna have to get there very early if you want a seat. So all you
No, I said Eric.
That was actually, to be honest with you, that was the biggest reason I wanted to go this weekend was because I knew the fan fest is at Ballpark Village. I love Ballpark Village.
So all you Battlehawk fans that plan on coming for Fan Fest on Saturday, keep in mind that the NCAA is going on, so you're going to have basketball fans at Ballpark Village as well. So if you want the tables and you want the chairs and you want the best seats in the house, you got to get there early.
Brett, when you come up to St. Louis, Brett, we go to Ballpark Village, you're going to love it.
Oh yeah.
I can honestly tell you, we sat in Ballpark Village last year. I'm not a huge hockey fan.
Yeah.
I don't understand the game. It is what it is. They had the Blues game up on the big TV amongst all the other big TVs they got in there.
Yeah.
And they got what are they, Ed? They're like foghorns on the sides of it.
Oh yeah, they put on the old hockey foghorns on the sides. So
when they scored a goal and there's freaking foghorns going off and there's smoke rolling out the tee, I mean, it was pretty cool. I was a hockey fan that night. That was a lot of fun. So everybody in the bars got their blue stuff on, man. I tell you what, it was a lot of fun.
Environment means a lot, and again, to go back to what Ed mentioned earlier about the 30,000 in St. Louis, that's great and fine and wonderful and all that, but at some point we got to get this baby churning to where St. Louis isn't the only one that's pulling its weight.
Well,
so
I have a feeling that there's going to be, I think Louisville for the home opener, I think they're going to be close to a sellout if it's not going to be sold out.
Yeah.
I think you're going to really see some good attendance numbers this year. I hope so.
It'll be better than last year, but it needs to be. I mean, last year was pretty bad, but we know there was a lot that was going on last year, that a lot of negative talk for the months leading up to the season that played a part in that.
I think the key teams this year for attendance are going to be Dallas and Birmingham.
And Houston.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, Houston. Yeah, Houston. I forgot Houston.
Yeah, I'm worried about Dallas.
Because I think the new teams, DC has always done well, St. Louis has always done well, and I think the new teams, at least, for the first year, are going to do well. It's going to. I think all eyes are going to be on Dallas, Houston, and Birmingham.
And that's where I hope Brett's rankings are wrong for the league's sake, because I'd hate to see Columbus and Louisville and those teams struggle in year one, because we all know fans can be. And if you start the season 0-4, 1-3, do the fans start finding other things to do? So
right. And that
worries me about Birmingham, because a lot of the fans are still sideways about Skip not being there, and all the chatter about the team being moved in the off season. And the last thing we need is to come home week 4 and be 0-3.
Well, yeah, that would be bad. That would definitely be bad.
Yeah.
So then, as if that wasn't enough with the Fan Fest leading up to the season, old Mike Rapoli decided, you know what, let's make that week 1 something to remember. So he's the first home game for all of the teams in the league. They have a halftime show. So I'm going to show my age on some of these guys. So you guys are going to have to help me out. I'm sure Eric and Brett are both rappers stuff. So they're probably going to know these guys. But Birmingham starts off with Brett, who we got?
Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane, man. Look, he's actually from Bessemer. He's born and raised in Bessemer. He's been in Atlanta forever, but he's literally from down the road. So that'll help attendance and people that's more familiar with him and grew up with him and is familiar with who he is and all that. So it's exciting. It's not my stuff, but I think it's good for the league. I think it's a good job by Rapoli.
And that'll be in week 4 because, again, Birmingham doesn't have their first home game till week 4. So April 18th at 3 o'clock is when that one will be. Then we've got Columbus. April 3rd is their first home game. They got Gavin DeGraw performing at their home opener halftime. We've got Dallas, March 28th, home opener, which is Saturday. 3 o'clock, they got Ty Myers playing. Then we've got DC. You guys heard of this guy? Wales?
No, I'm not into rap. So
yeah, he's from the Virginia D.C. area. He's pretty heavy in that area, so that won't hurt. That's for sure.
It says DC native and chart-topping rapper.
Yep.
So,
which makes sense to bring in local, people who are from the area that have been successful. I mean,
absolutely.
Whether I'm into rap or not is irrelevant. I think it's a good call.
Yeah. Then in Louisville, we got Russell Dickerson. Their home opener is Friday night against Birmingham, a week from Friday, March 27th at 8 o'clock. They got Russell Dickerson performing at halftime.
Yeah, my oldest sister's big into concerts and country music, and she said she was real familiar with Dickerson, and he was a pretty good, talented kid.
So then in Orlando,
DJ Calvin.
Another one.
Sunday, March 29th.
Another one.
It's a night game. They're going to have him at halftime. It'll be on prime time. So that'll be a good one. And then the last team that I've got here, St. Louis, and as you can imagine, it wouldn't be right if they didn't have Nelly as the halftime. Nelly and the St. Lunatics will be gracing the stage in St. Louis at halftime on that Saturday. So it's going to be a fun day. Start off with a couple big-ass breakfast burritos, roll my way into the Dome, watch St. Louis get off to a 1-0 start, watch Nelly at halftime. It's going to be a full day, and hell, it'll only be 3 in the afternoon.
It'll be nap time after that one.
Have you guys noticed one thing? We're missing our one of our cohorts tonight, KJ, which is a Houston guy. Houston is yet to announce an act for their opening game, so they need to get that squared away sooner than later. Don't they play home week 1?
I can't remember.
I think Dallas goes to Houston week 1.
Yeah, no, Houston goes to Dallas in week 1.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Houston's first game is at home. Birmingham comes to town in week 2.
That's right. That's the Mother's Day game that they switched to tonight. I hope that didn't affect talent that they were bringing in. We definitely don't want the Houston fans left out. They got to come up with something. So hopefully that'll be announced in the next day or two, and I imagine it will be.
I tell you what, Bray, you are right. Birmingham better have their helmets on straight because, opening night in Louisville, sellout crowd, rabid fans. I mean, who knows what you're going to get that game. But then, Houston has been notorious for giving Birmingham a game.
Right.
And then they turn around the next week and they go to St. Louis. So, yeah, I mean, if they're not ready to go and they struggle to start out of the gate, AJ could have a eye awakening. Of course, AJ can't look ahead because we all know he's looking ahead to week 4.
Yeah.
Week 4, he's already said he's going to be kicking some ass in week 4.
Yeah.
So,
Week 4 has definitely been circled on his calendar for a while.
We got to make sure we get credentialed for that game because I would love to be backstage with those two. Especially if Birmingham wins, I'll be like,
boys, we're getting pretty good at this stuff because here we are again. We got through the final 4 teams. We did running back tiers. Chris Tisdale's already told me he's got wide receiver tiers already done for us for next week. So we'll have that. We'll have the final preseason Brett's rankings for the
with
team.
changes. With changes.
Right? Oh, it's going to be some shaking up.
But next week we preview week 1 and give our picks. And I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to agree with Eric this year. This will be the year for our preview games that we are going to use the line on our predictions.
Ooh.
Oh.
We will use the line and change it up a bit.
Wow. Hey now.
So the first week, that'll be tough to take.
Yeah, that's going to be a
who the hell knows what's going to happen. But I've always been against doing it that way because I figure if I pick the winner, I won it. So, but we're gonna.
You know what? Hey, we might ought to leave the line off this year if we were going to ever leave it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year would have been a lot easier to run the lines than this year.
Yeah. These first couple of weeks, we're going to look like asshats when all of us are 1-7.
John David wants Brett in St. Louis week 3. He wants to take Brett to the bar.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm not a drinker, but it wouldn't take much. I'd be a cheap date, I can assure you. That bar got hot wings.
Oh God. That's good.
I hope I do get to go. I mean, I'd really love to meet the guys because, God, we've talked endlessly for about 3 years now, and I still hadn't hardly met anybody. Met KJ. I've met KJ a couple times.
Yeah, you could drive up, grab KJ on your way through. You and Marty. Grab KJ.
And that way I could sleep in the back.
You only got to get to KJ, then make him drive all the rest of the way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll have to keep KJ out of the casinos because last year when he come for the championship game, every time you looked at him, he was staring at the casino across the interstate. So I think he spent the night in the casino that night, actually.
Well, you remember I was in the casino business for 7 years, but I didn't have any clients in Missouri. I had them just about everywhere else, though.
With that said, we are little over one short week away.
Can't wait.
From the opening kickoff of the UFL season. Get out there, go to the Fan Fest this weekend, fill the joint, get that fever pitch going so that everybody's ready to blow the lids off these stadiums next weekend. Can't wait. Boy,
New merch too, Ed. There's think I saw where Van, the mayor, posted on X today. It was 8 or 10 new items on the store, and someone mentioned to Rapoli, I think it was yesterday, said, well, the store's all right, but, it could do better. And Rapoli responded like he does by saying, well, I appreciate the compliment. It's definitely not all right, but we're going to get there.
You know what, Eric? If you were a season ticket holder for the St. Louis Battlehawks, you know what you would have gotten this year?
What?
A golf towel with
You
a
got
hook.
a
With a hook.
You know what I did? So we got what towels did we get? Did they give us towels? Oh, these.
We got so many towels.
I know, but we got these towels last year. You know what I did? I put an eyelet in one of the towels that we got, and I put a hook on it, and now this towel, one of them, is on my golf bag.
Well, as you can see over there's another towel.
Oh, I got that one too.
I've got so many Battlehawk towels.
And then I got that blue one.
We got to work on.
Give out towels in Birmingham. I guess they figure we don't bathe often enough.
You should hand out towels so you can spend the whole game going like this, wiping sweat off your face.
So
Exactly.
we're challenging Brett for next week, Eric. The next week he will have a proper backdrop.
You don't like my cat tree? It don't get no more proper than that.
To start the UFL season, he's got a rep, and I even got to challenge Eric, man. Eric's got to he's got to get a little better with his UFL backdrop than
Listen,
what he's got.
I mean, I've got UFL. My flags, I got to get them up, man. It'll get there. It'll get there, bud.
I think next week, Eric, we maybe start off as stormtroopers to start the show.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll get us going. That'll get us going.
I won't be able to hear, but I'll talk.
Anyway, big thank you out there to all the pages, Facebook, X, that allow us to post on their pages. Shout out to oh God.
Shout out to him too.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm not even gonna say it.
Screw it.
But anyway, looking forward to a fun weekend. See all you guys at FanFest this weekend. Make sure you buy me a bourbon or a Grey Goose. Whatever your heart contends, I'll drink any of it.
Virgin daiquiri.
Look me up, the Bottom Line shirt. And we will see you guys on Saturday. Looking forward to a great show next week with all of our previews for week 1. It's time to go.
And go Cyclones. Go Cyclones. I see you, Brett. We're out of here,
Bottom Line
bud.
show.
Roll Tide.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
And